You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rudrance for Black and White Sports. Well, we have an update on Paul Whelan. He has been located. However, the news is not just real good. Now, we got to remember Paul Whelan was a Marine. He's incarcerated over in Russia, wrongfully detained. He's got that label along with Brittney Griner, the WNBA player that's over there. And the reason that they are so closely related, they're essentially tied at the hip because they're part of what would be a package deal to get Paul Whelan home and to get Brittney Griner home in a potential trade from Russia back to the United States, as rumored, for notorious scumbag arms dealer, Victor Bout. Well, Paul Whelan has been located, and we've got the information on it. He is hospitalized, and I don't know. We don't have many more specifics than that, but I'm going to give you what we've got right now. Paul Whelan, the wrongfully imprisoned Novi man who has been incarcerated in Russia for the past 3 years, has been moved to a prison hospital, his brother says. David Whelan said the information came from staff at a labor camp where Paul was imprisoned. So as of yesterday afternoon, nobody knew why nobody could find or had heard from Paul Whelan in the last week. No reason was given for the move. Worrying David, who said Paul hasn't complained about any health issues that would require hospitalization. In a statement, David said Paul always tells his family when he's being transferred to the hospital, quote, "It's usually been without his request or need for medical attention." So I guess Russia has just put him in the hospital randomly. Paul was recently in contact with his family on November 23rd. What really worried them was there was no communication from him on Thanksgiving, and then his father celebrated a birthday, and I guess normally he would have called home on that day, and they didn't hear from Paul then either. Quote, "If Paul's at the prison hospital, why is he being prohibited from making phone calls that every prisoner is allowed to make? Is he unable to make calls? Or is he really still at IK-17 labor camp? But he's been put in solitary and the prison is hiding that fact." Yikes. Yikes. I guess that's what his brother is saying right now. They're wondering if he's really even still where he is supposed to be, whether or not he's in solitary and nobody knows it. That's troubling, because when he gets out, he's going to tell it, right? Paul is serving a 16-year prison sentence after he was convicted by Russian court on espionage charges. When asked by the White House, a spokesman for the National Security Council said it was the first time anyone at the U.S. had heard about Whelan's status. However, in a follow-up statement given to CNN, a State Department spokesman said they were aware Whelan had been recently moved and was unable to call home over the holiday. Both Whelan and Brittney Griner, the WNBA star who was convicted of drug charges, have been part of a larger international tension between the U.S. and Russia. The latter has been an international pariah after it invaded the Ukraine. A prisoner swap is said to be on the table for Griner and Whelan, with convicted arms dealer Victor Bout considered as someone the U.S. would trade for both prisoners. So that's what we've got. Paul Whelan is supposedly in a Russian prison hospital, supposed to be at his location, but they can't even confirm that. Okay, they don't even know if he's at the same prison, or if he is there, is he really in the hospital, or is he in solitary? And nobody knows. Now, what's Russia going to do when he gets out and he calls home and he tells the real story? You know, or that makes me concerned as to how much communication Russia's going to let him have going forward, maybe. And, of course, all this does affect Brittney Griner, okay? Also, this is an illustration of something that could happen to Griner when she's over there, okay? Lack of communication out of nowhere. Nobody hears from her. Ends up in prison, or prison hospital, or ends up in solitary, goes MIA at the prison, etc., etc. This is very troubling. We want to try to get Paul Whelan, if we can, back home safely, being a former Marine. And, you know, him and Griner right now are tied together as a package, potentially anyway. I still wonder, I would love to know if the White House was offered a straight-up swap, Paul Whelan's life, Paul Whelan himself, for Victor Bout, would Joe Biden accept that, leaving Brittney Griner behind? Because in Russia's terms, Russia may be sitting back going, it's a 1-for-1. That's something to think about, right? There had been rumors that there was a second Russian scumbag out there that would be added to the Bout deal, and that thus would make it a 2-for-2 swap. But it's interesting. Would Joe Biden literally on the other side of the phone say, no, we want Griner? Would the U.S., and it would be despicable if the truth got out, would the U.S. say, no, we're only trading Bout if we're getting Griner back? I don't know. I that's a question that just dawned on me, that if it was proposed by Russia back to the U.S., we'll swap you 1-for-1, Whelan for Bout, would Joe Biden accept that? Or is this only getting done because of a basketball player? What is the U.S. value on a Marine? I want to know. Peace. I'm out. We're praying for Paul Whelan. Till next time. Black and White Network supporters, make sure you go over and check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. 25% off USA First. 25% off USA First. Go now.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.